Whoa! Boom! Personality turns on right now. All right, everybody, welcome back to the season finale of Ketchup with Domtomato. This week is amazing. We have a Red Bull athlete. She's already an icon in the sport at such a young age. She's a multiple medal winner in different FIG competitions and parkour championships. Noa Diorgina, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. It's evening there in Holland, correct?
Yes, correct. It's evening, yes.
It's morning here in Australia, so we've got a nice, good time split going there. So you've got, correct me if I'm wrong, like multiple FIG medals from traveling and competing, and you've also won,
Yes, true.
air whips and things. Explain like what your kind of competition routine and schedule looks like. What's like the kind of history, I guess, going into it, but also like how you kind of plan a year around competitions.
Do you mean like at the competitions or before a competition?
Before the competitions and like scheduling that in like the big picture.
Okay. I most of the time have like a goal, like a big trick or a big jump that I want to do, and I go into competitions to do my own, or how do you say it? To
Achieve your goal.
Achieve my goal. Yes, exactly. And that's like the thing that I always do. So at air whip, I wanted to do like the weird knee front flip thing. And at Red Bull Art of Motion, I wanted to do, for example, the double flyaway stuff.
Yeah.
So I always plan something that I really want to do, and that's my goal. And then, of course, I would like to have the podium, but I focus more on the things that I want to do than the competition itself.
Well, I think that's a very smart way to go about it, is when you're goal setting, especially for a sport like ours where there isn't as much of a competitive mindset. Yeah, giving yourself like a physical marker or a mental marker that you want to kind of check off during that time. And so would you say then that involves like a kind of structured training around like going into that? So you're doing like a couple of sessions dedicated to that trick and more things dedicated around like speed runs and flow runs. What's the week look like?
Like if you take a month before the competition, the first few weeks that are like not the closest to the competition itself, I train like things to the ground, so like flips and runs to the ground, and I make like a run that I want to do with the flips I want to do at the competition. And then when the competition comes closer, like a week before, I try to take my rest, so I have like a lot of energy to do the competition.
Okay, so is that like a whole week off, or is that just like a dialed back intensity?
No, just like 3 days off because I have too much energy to not train.
Yeah. I think it's a common thing with a lot of us who are working in the industry, is that innate like need to do parkour all the time. It's just like
I cannot sit still for too long. That's not my thing. So
Okay, so what is your name backwards, Noa? Your full name backwards? It'd be Anij Royd. Oh my god, like Anij Royd sounds like some sort of like some sort of steroid.
Energy drink or something.
Yeah. And then Owen. So it'd be Anij Royd Owen. Aon. Yeah, it's almost like an elven name from Lord of the Rings, like Aon. And if you could have a superpower, what would that superpower be?
I think my superpower would be like flying, because then I could do more bigger jumps and I have more time to finish my flips.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I guess a perk of that would be like you could do really good location scouting, because you could like fly in your general area like a drone and like, okay, I want to go there, instead of having to go and like search between the buildings for the spots.
Yeah, and then you can be a better cameraman too.
Absolutely.
Because you can just fly around the course.
You can do the drone shots. Oh man, that's very practical. And if you could show one clip or achievement or like, you know, moment from your training to yourself before you started training to kind of give you like a motivation or an example of what you could achieve in the sport to kind of drive you there. Is there anything that stands out as that, you know, iconic moment of in the sport, or like a move that you did that really just like for you was the most satisfying thing?
I think my biggest dream before I went to Red Bull Art of Motion was Red Bull Art of Motion, because that was like that was just something I really wanted to join. I didn't want to win, but I just wanted to join the competition. And I won the competition that we did on the boat. And I think that was like my biggest achievement until now. And now my biggest like goal is to travel around the world and make like awesome projects with Red Bull and make cool content. So
really push that kind of commercialized multimedia side of things.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think that's somewhere like from outwards looking in, that's somewhere you've always kind of thrived in, is the in front of the camera, like working on screen stuff seems to be where you're quite comfortable and putting yourself out there. Like we'd see you on screen doing like bajillions of TikTok dances, and then we'd come hang out and you'd be like, hey, hi. It's nice that you had that platform for you to kind of express yourself. And I think a lot of younger people do feel more comfortable doing that through a screen and that sort of thing.
And I think like social media is a big part of parkour, because in like Holland it's not that big. So if you want to join the parkour community, you really have to have something to keep being in contact with the rest of the parkour athletes. And social media is just like the best way for that. So
I think that a lot of us, especially the older generation, were hesitant to kind of use it as the creative tool that it can be, or saw that there was a lot of negatives originally and were hesitant to kind of see that come into parkour. But I think as it's grown over the years, it's become quite the norm, especially for the younger athletes, for communication, collaboration of ideas. Even like during COVID, I remember there was a period of time where a lot of athletes were sending each other videos and like kind of somewhat training together and stuff like that. And I think without social media, we wouldn't have had that access.
I think so too. And also like when you don't have a lot of creativity, you can always search like somebody up on Instagram and you can like get inspired by them. So that's also really cool, I think.
Yeah, it's really useful like that. How was your year for you? Like if you were looking back on the whole year as a total, how do you think your 22 was?
I think it was really cool. I tried a lot of new competitions and I joined a lot of like old competitions, and I traveled like a lot around the world, and that's like my biggest goal. So I'm very happy about this year.
So if you had a fave destination, a favorite trip, like the where you went, where would that be?
I think Red Bull Art of Motion and the World Games, because Red Bull Art of Motion was like I think Red Bull Art of Motion has like the most fun athletes. So,
we had a very good time on that island, and also I think the location is one of the most special things about Red Bull Art of Motion, is the way they bring you to this incredible landscape, which is visually grasping, but also for the sport is very, very interesting.
And exactly. And like every
sorry, you go on.
No, go for it.
I was just going to ask where the World Games were held.
In Birmingham in USA. So
cool.
I think the place was really cool. That's like the reason I wanted to join the competition. So
that sounds like a fun competition as well. I don't know too many details about how that works. Was that part of the FIG structure?
I don't really know. I think there were the same judges, but it was not like
a FIG competition.
It was something new. It was like the World Games, like more like the Olympics.
Like something with multiple like that. Sports.
So exactly. It was really cool. You had like breakdancing and all that type of sports. So it was like really urban sports.
Street sports. Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it was really sick.
Did you have a favorite month of training throughout the year? Like a month to you that stood out as like your most progression or you most achieved or something like that?
I think like in the summer, like July or August, because in like 1 month I went to Barcelona and I think it was England, Bulgaria. I like traveled in 1 month like so many times, and I think that was the most fun month.
Oh,
yeah.
you mentioning Barcelona. I remember when we did the like the introductions for the event, and they came out with the fire exploding, and your
my
right
God,
arm
no,
almost went over the fire, and the fire like exploded on you,
and it
you
smelled
still
like
ran out
chicken.
and did round off back out as well. It was great. Oh, I'll definitely
like,
bring that up on the screen.
Yeah, and I was like, I was standing next to someone because we had to stand in a line, and somebody was like, "Whoa, it smells like chicken! What the heck?" And I was like, "Okay, thank you."
Just fried.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
all
so
like
good.
my little hairs on my arm were burned. Like there was no hair at all. Yeah, it was just gone.
I guess in a way it was like, it's like a free waxing. It's just like really fast on the way by.
Yeah, exactly.
Elegant.
Yeah. And I kept going because I was like, I cannot stop now. So I did the round of full, and I was hoping nobody saw it, but like everybody saw it.
There's a couple of good clips of it. We'll throw them up on the screen for people who are watching on YouTube. I think a lot of our athletes have actually answered like July, August as that period of time. Do you think it being summer and kind of after a couple of months of the heat and everyone getting into it, that's like kind of where you hit that progression point?
Yeah, because my problem is school. I'm still in school. So in the summer, I don't have school, and I progress the most because I travel with a lot of athletes, and you learn so much from like when I train with you or Jason Paul. I just learn so much more than just at home. And also, if you hear something, my father is gaming and he's getting a little bit aggressive. So
love that. Yeah. No, not a worry. I don't think there was too much from our end.
Okay, good.
That's just on COD, like
yeah.
Love that. So good. So you've been competing in FIG events for how many years now? 2 or 3 years?
No, I think this was my first year because
really?
you had to be like the year you turn 18, that's the year you can join. And I just turned 18, so this was my first year.
Yeah, so, happy birthday. Yeah. I mean, when this comes out, it'll be a few months later, but currently very happy birthday. You're an adult now.
You.
It's crazy. Like the little sister of the community, just become like a remarkable young woman. It's very well done, very well accomplished for your age.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. When it comes to like the competitions you have done with FIG so far, do you feel like there's a lot of obviously there's heaps of stuff in the scene about what people think of the judging stuff, but I feel like what I want to ask is like, what are the positive takeaways from those events? What are the things that really stand out to you as like a good kind of foundation to work from?
I think at first FIG is to really like how do you say that? How do you say that? Hoe zeg je kwetsbaar? I asked my mom for a second. Vulnerable? Like subject, because there are so many people who love it or hate it, and I think that's like why I don't really talk about it. But I think you can most of the time only judge something if you tried it. So that's the reason why I wanted to try it. And I think there are a lot of positive things, and of course it's something new, so there are like a lot of things we can improve at the FIG competitions, but like it's something new, so I think you have to start somewhere, and I think this is like a good way to start and try to improve it to something we all like. So
exactly. I think a lot of the topics we see and conversations we see online about it are that like critique and change and knowing, and I guess that's why I was more curious as to, as an athlete who's experienced it, what kind of like specific things really made the experience like warming and fun, and what was like kind of the setup and the way that they like made it feel like a larger than life event.
I think it's really nice that it's not an inside competition, that it's most of the time like outside, like in the sun and stuff like that. And I think the speed competitions that they do, like the, how do you say that? How they organize the speed competitions, I like very much, because you
so
have to like
side by side kind of
yeah,
racing and hitting the
and it
buzzer.
looks so cool. If you put like a drone or something, it looks so cool. And you have to start on like a platform, and you have to put your feet on it. And when you start running, the time goes. So there's like no way you can start like earlier or like later.
Or come in
So I
running
think
style or
that's like really cool, and it gives you like so much hype because they're like counting, and you hear like a beep, like 1, 2, 3, and then you have to run. I think that's like a really fun part of those competitions. How they do
the
it.
head-to-head battles.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And it's most of the time also the places where they do it. So we had competitions in Bulgaria. I think the weather was nice. We had nothing to complain about. And we went to Japan for a competition.
That's really
so
cool.
I think because of these competitions, I can travel more, and that's like my biggest thing that I like to do. So
I think as a general, when I look at it objectively, and this is why you don't hear me go on and on about either kind of side of it normally, but I see it as inherently it can only be a good thing, giving athletes opportunity and expanding the sport in a new way. Obviously, there's always going to be hiccups and hurdles to overcome with that. I remember when Red Bull was first a major sponsor in parkour, we copped a lot of slack for that, and that was something that a few athletes really had a standpoint against. But that changes as the sport evolves, and those things kind of do shift in a positive way if enough people have the right mentality and kind of want to cause that. Papa.
Hij zei hoi.
But so you've done Red Bull Art of Motion, you've done air whip competitions. What's kind of your opinion on the way that they did Art of Motion this year is a different thing, but also the way that judging system is kind of evolving from what it used to be with that standard 4-piece format. What are your thoughts on those?
That's a good question. I think the new like format of Rep Art of Motion this year, it was really cool because we had like a lot of fun, and it was more like challenges, and I think for social media, it's like really, it was less stressful than the Rep Art of Motions before, and that was like a really good thing. And I had like content for like 3 months, so that's also nice. And and I think it was like the judging could be discussed a little bit more, but of course it's new, so you have to start somewhere. And I think the format was really cool, and they should keep going with it, I think.
I think,
but maybe they should do like the original Art of Motion and like this, so like 2 types of
I think potentially, like if they had the control, I think they would have loved to make this a separate event, but we're still under the label of that Red Bull Art of Motion kind of blanket that they already have. So what was I going to ask is about the event? Oh well, I completely forgot. But did you get a chance to hit up any of the street competitions that they have? You've been to Own the Spot before, which I guess is the original. Have you made it to any of like the Kipper street events or the like small Germany competitions, or have they had any in Holland where it's just like a spot-based, location-based event?
Own the Spot is in Holland, and I think that one is really fun. I think it's really cool because you literally have to do your own thing. You can choose whatever you want to do. If you like parkour, you do that. If you want to do one clip or like one shot, but for example you like a lot, it's also cool. And if you want to make a run, you can do it. And I think Own the Spot is one of the nicest competitions in Holland. Also because you can own like every spot if you do it in like good, or you can just choose, okay, I want to train at this spot and this spot, and then I'm done. So I think that one was really cool, and the format is sick. And it's like really urban because everything is outside, and there are no like, there's nothing built, so everything is just what you find. You have to use it, and you cannot like replace something, or like that.
Yeah, you can't just build the structure. If you were to say you had to pick just like the more regimented competitions or just the street competitions, where do you think your split would lie? Ideally, you would never have to do just one or the other, but if you had to pick one, where do you think you're?
Wait, can you repeat it? Because my English is not that good, so I'm trying.
You're good. So if you had to choose between just doing big competitions, Red Bull Out of Motion, the more structured events, or attending the street competitions and having a bit more flexibility and fun with those ones, which one would you choose between those two if you had to? Obviously, that's not an ideal world, but just which one do you
that's a hard question, because I would like to like participate in almost everything, because that's something I like to do. But I think Red Bull Art of Motion will be like the most fun and also most stressful competition at the same time. But I think that's like, that's always my biggest like goal, or company.
Oh, that actually brings me back to my point earlier about Red Bull Out of Motion was I think with what you said about it being a new competition, and the judging system is like just evolving. If I was to look at it more specifically, I would say, like, for example, with the first 2 days, they could be maybe scaled less in weight. So depending, like, say you have 30% and 30% come from the first 2 days, and then 40% of your score comes from the last day, so that they can give more weight to that final combo battle. Because it did feel, even like in the men's, for a lot of the guys who had no points on the board, there was no hope in the world of reaching that pinnacle, which I mean, for people who are competitive or want to get themselves on a podium, that can be disheartening, I think, for the younger guys who are really hungry for that sort of thing. So yeah, there is a way I think we can evolve it, and just like SPL, they've been kind of retinkering it every year, and I think that's something we were doing with Red Bull Out of Motion, years prior, and that's why we've seen this big change. With the sponsorship,
that would be cool.
You've been sponsored now for how long?
1 year and like 3 months or something.
Woo! And how's everything going with Red Bull? Have you guys got like good plans for the coming year? Have you got exciting projects in the works? Obviously, you don't have to say too much, but
yes, we do have a lot of things coming, and also we're gonna do something, a cool project. So that will be sick
Noa
too.
and I'll be collabing soon on a project, so stay tuned to the Red Bull YouTube for that.
Yes, that's sick. And I have like a lot of things planned, but I first need to finish school, and that's very annoying, because I don't think I'm gonna do something with school when I'm older. So it's very hard to keep motivated for school.
Well, I think that's nice for a lot of younger athletes to hear, is that you have 1 year left?
No, 4 months.
4 months left until summer.
And then I'm done with school.
And then done with school. And that's like, I remember when I was your age and I was finishing, I didn't finish high school, but I had that similar issue where parkour and what I wanted to do with my life didn't kind of line up with what the school trajectory was, and it was very difficult to stay in class and just want to be like doing that work when I could be doing parkour. So what are some of the, I guess, like rationales or like methods that you kind of told yourself to finish school? So some of like the reasonings you made.
Okay, 1 second. Hoe zeg je leerplicht? It's like in Holland we have the law, and you have to, if you don't have a diploma,
certification, diploma,
yeah, exactly. Then you have to stay in school until you're 18, and you have to finish with a diploma or something like that. So that's like an annoying part, because I really want to train full time and travel, but it's annoying. So I hope I make it in 4 months, and then I'm done and I don't have to be in school anymore. But I keep motivated, because how better I how higher grades I have now, how easier it gets to finish school, I think.
Yeah. The more
so that's something.
If you get higher marks, you can finish school sooner. You won't have to do more studying.
Yes.
That sort of thing. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's slightly different to the way the Australian school system works, and they have a very regimented school year. And if you've done enough work, you pass and you do your exams, and if not, you fail, and that's about it. There's not really too much like you get to extend time as often and that sort of thing.
I understand.
Now you've got Red Bull sponsorship. Do you work, and prior to that, did you ever work with any management, or like was it all kind of done through Mark and Jump Freerun?
I do have like a management, and I have my Red Bull manager.
Yep.
So I have a management, and like I do a lot of commercials. Yes, commercials.
And so TVCs and short like advertisement
stunts,
pieces.
Yes, and stunts for like movies and stuff. That's what my management like helps me with, like the right price and my like
communication
agenda, which days I'm free. And then I have like a Red Bull manager, and that's like my contact person for Red Bull. And she helps me with like if I need something, if I break something or something like that, they try to help me the best way possible, so I can do the best I can in my sport.
So they keep you kind
like
of
my
like supported in the physical sense and opportunity sense for sport specifically.
Yes, for sure. And then like my Instagram I do by myself. So and my mom sometimes help me with my spelling because I have dyslexia. So if like, oh my god, like 2 days ago I posted a story and I wrote like I'm cooking because my mom is sick. There were like 4 spelling mistakes in it because my mom was sick, so she couldn't read it. So I was like, I was getting texts like, did you do that on purpose or was it like a mistake? You know it's wrong. And I was like, oh shit.
It's like so blatantly wrong that people assume it's a joke. Yeah,
it's a joke. Yeah,
can happen. I mean, yes, like social media is a big part of what you do and how you put yourself out there. What's your, I guess, goals for the future with that? Would you like to build a brand upon it, or is that something you'd like to just have a platform to then provocate work through?
I would like to inspire a lot of people and especially girls to do parkour, because I get a lot of texts from example like girls who really want to try parkour but they're too scared to do it because there are like so many boys doing it. And I hope that I can maybe change that and like let the girls know that it's okay to train on your own level. And that's like my biggest goal. And of course I hope I can like get more jobs from it. That's like my biggest thing. And to make like awesome content.
Very eventful background today. What are some strategies that you've implemented to kind of build your following and brand? Is there like a consistent time you're posting, or is there a certain amount you post, or are you very articulate with what you post and direct with what you do? What's like the strategy you take with social media?
For social media, I like to post most of the things I post are parkour, of course. And I like to show my fashion side sometimes, not too much, but sometimes on social media, because that's like another thing that I love like a lot. And I like to show like.
I noticed you've got like 2 videos and a photo there. Is that kind of the way you split that so you can show off the personal fashion side? And I think also like you're showing your personality and your face and who you are, so that people have more accessibility to who they're following. It can be really easy to just post your jumps and then you are just another body doing jumps, and there's not really like it's like a faceless image, and people don't have that connection. So I think that's a clever way to kind of go about it.
Yeah, because I like to show what I love the most, parkour, and I like to show what I do besides parkour. So yeah, and I do like most of the time, I do like 2 videos and then like 1 photo, or 3 videos and then 1 photo, or something like that, because then most of my followers are there for like parkour, but the other half of my followers like the normal side of like my life. So yeah, I think that's what I like to do, and that's like kind of my strategy. And I also post like, I think every 2 days. So like 2 days and then I post. But if I have a clip, then I post it directly, because why not?
Excited about it. Yeah,
and,
yeah. No, that's great.
Exactly.
That's a great little system to have.
That's like kind of how I do it.
Yeah. And so do you do a lot of kind of work with clients and stuff through your social media? I've seen there's a few brand deals. Is that like an ongoing cycle, or trying to kind of another way to create revenue and income?
Yes, that's very much true. I try to get jobs for my social media as well, of course. And I have like, when I was like, no wait, oh my god, English is so hard. Okay, 1 second.
You're doing amazing. You've been smashing it for half an hour.
3 years ago, yes, okay, like around 3 years ago, I didn't have that much following, but I did have like some following. And then I had like a lot of small brands. They sent like packages and stuff, but that was so much work, because I have school, I have stand jobs, like commercials, so it didn't really work out. Yeah. And then like Red Bull came, and I have like OG, that's my newest sponsor. That's like so much better, because now I can focus on those 2. And then if there's a brand that I really like, and that's like what I'm actually going to use, or what's like
you genuinely
kind of my thing, exactly, then I can do it. So I think that's a better way to do it for now.
Yeah, for sure. And do you do a lot of the approaching for brands yourself, or do you find that it's a case of the brands reach out to you and then you're kind of figuring out which ones you want to work with?
I think almost every time the brands approach me, and then I need to find out with my management which one like suits me the best, because I don't want like a brand that's like, I don't know, for whitening your teeth, and then
that's
I'm
so
like,
funny. I think
nice.
A lot of us have had the same brands of the same kind of caliber approach us. Like, I think teeth whitening, or like even like what sometimes I had watch companies approach me, and I'm like, I mean,
exactly.
It's great. I can see like the appeal, but I never wear a watch. Like I can't genuinely back it, because I never wear a watch. So it just feels disingenuous.
Yeah, I do. Every day I wear a watch, and now I'm actually maybe getting a sponsor with a watch.
There you go.
So that's cool.
See, if you're living that lifestyle, then it's perfect. And then you want that hookup. You're like, ooh, bougie.
Yeah, but like, because I like fashion too, so then it suits me. But like, sometimes you get I think you also have that, like, so many weird requests too, like from brands or something. You're like, what, how?
or just like really like unthought out or lowball offers. Like somebody approached me about, like, they're like, oh, I've got this new AI technology, similar, I guess, competing to Lensa. And I was like, oh, cool. They're like, what's your budget for the project? They're like, we'll give you $100 for the post. I was like, no, $100 is not an acceptable fee for social media, a reach of over 1 million. Like, yeah,
exactly.
So just
I understand.
unaware of the landscape. So you're now in like the winter period in Holland. It's probably snowing, correct, or like icy?
In Holland, it doesn't really snow that much, so that's very sad. It used to be, but because of the global warming and stuff, but it's really cold though, and it's raining like every day, so that's annoying.
Raining cold.
And but in Australia it's now
it's summer, like, here. It's
warm.
it's pretty nice.
What?
Yeah,
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 26 degrees Celsius on Christmas Day.
Ooh.
So that means
So
you're training.
next year.
Oh yeah, so
Next year when I don't have. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
You go first. Oh, next year when I don't have school, I'm going to be in the winter in Australia, and then in the summer in Holland. So it's always summer.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's how I kind of strategize. As long as you get the most sunshine per year you possibly can, you're doing the right thing.
Exactly.
But you're training indoors now, then I guess, like using the facilities and stuff. Is that like a daily thing or twice a day? What's the regimen look like?
Now I train like twice a day, and then I have like 1 or sometimes 2 rest days, because I don't really like rest days. I have too much energy to sit still. So on my rest day, I film content for Red Bull, and then like, or just my own social media because I get bored. And then it's not really a rest day, but like not during the weekend, but the door the week daily, like no, like from Monday to Friday. Okay, I train like 2 times a day. So yeah.
So you're kind of treating it like more of a traditional sporting regime. So you've got your session before school, session after school. And I think obviously because you're a student, it is more catered around that. There's no way you can just be going out from midday every day when you've got class.
Yeah, I miss a lot of classes because of parkour, but as long as I get good grades, I think it's fine.
Nice.
And
that's a good split.
I train before and after school. That's
Sweet. Well, thank you very much for coming on today. If people want to find you, where's the best places on social media to get at you?
I think Instagram is the best place to.
Instagram is number one. Noa, is it _Diorgina?
No,
it'll be in the links underscore. Yeah. It'll be linked on the screen. So if you want to see what she's up to over the next 12 months and getting into 2023, check her out there. Thank you so much for coming on the show and offering your insight and telling everyone about like the different experience you've had. It's really great. And I want to thank everybody for listening to Ketchup for Domtomato this season. It's been awesome having you here, and I hope all of the athletes have been able to give you some entertainment, but also some insight into following your dreams and building your passion into something that you can turn into a career. So I'll see you all next season.